Hi guys, I'm live. How you guys doing? I'm out on my walk, and I want to do a music theory lesson, and I want to do it about the topic of the circle of fifths, and also connecting that to the minor scales, like the harmonic minor scale and stuff like that. So let's do it. So first of all, everyone, I'm probably sure that knows anything about music has heard of thought of or seen the circle of fifths with C at the top. A C major scale has no sharps or flats, and a C major scale is all white notes on the piano, which doesn't mean it's not all sharps and flats, because C is actually B sharp. So even though C is a white key, it could be a B sharp, and even though B is a white key, it could be C flat, etc. But C is no sharps or flats, all the white keys on the piano. And so let's do the circle of fifths in considering that. So C's to the top at 12 o'clock. C's no sharps or flats. To the right one is G, that has one sharp. Another right to the right is a D that has two sharps. And then finally A on the very right, you can call that east, is A with three sharps. And then E is 4 o'clock, and that's five sharps. And then B is 5 o'clock, and that's five sharps. 6 o'clock is F sharp, which is six sharps, or G flat, which is six flats. And not only that, B, the key that's 5 o'clock, could actually be C flat, which has seven flats. So the 5 o'clock can be B, which has five sharps, or C flat, which has seven flats. And notice how 5 and 7 add up to 12, because that's just a handy rule of thumb about inharmonic keys. That if you have the same key spelled two different ways, the total of the sharps and flats involved will add up to 12. So that we were at 6 o'clock, which is F sharp, which is six sharps, or G flat, which is six flats. And notice how six sharps, six flats, 6 and 6 add up to 12, because F sharp and G flat are the same key, just inharmonically spelled differently. And then 7 o'clock is 7 o'clock is D flat, or you could call it C sharp. Again, 7 and 5 make 12, and it could be either one. D flat has So then there's the next step is 8 o'clock, which is that would be I'm going to call that one A flat. So that's 8 o'clock, and that has four flats. And then 9 o'clock is E flat, which has three flats. And then 10 o'clock is B flat, which has two flats. And then 11 o'clock is F, which has one flat. And then you're back to C. 12 o'clock, there's no sharps or no flats. So that's very familiar, even though there's a few tricks to it, like the one I just said. If you have the same note but spelled two different ways, and the key is spelled two different ways, which is called the inharmonic keys, E-N, not I-N, then the total number of flats or sharps involved is 12. Now, before I go to the minors, let's rant a little. So let's say I have C major scale. It's no sharps, no flats. And if I go to C sharp, that's seven sharps, because every note gets sharp one. So that's seven sharps, but that's also D flat, because 7 and 5 make 12, and C sharp is also D flat. So you can find out key signatures very quickly just by, let's say I know C is no sharps, no flats, and I want to know the key of D. Well, that's just up a whole step, and up a whole step is up two fifths. If you go back down an octave, so that's just two sharps. So up a whole step is two sharps. Up a half step is five flats or seven sharps. So you can know these things right off the bat and have an easier time figuring out what key it is, rather than just go around the circle for each key every time like you don't know what you're doing and take longer. E is four sharps, but that could be considered D plus a whole step. And since D is a whole step, it's two sharps, and another whole step is E, which is 2 and 2 make 4, which is four sharps. So you can just do it real quickly in your head, And then let's say I want to go from E to E back down to B. Okay, that's up a fifth. B is up a fifth from E, so B is 5 sharps, and that's consistent because we know harmonically that B is also C flat, and the key of C, since the key of C is no sharps and no flats, the key of C flat would be 7 flats, and B is the same key but spelled differently, so it's 5 sharps, and 5 and 7 make 12. So know those little tricks, know how to get good at using it without just having to go, okay, I guess B, and you have to count it all starting on the circle fifths from C. Just know some little tricks first. Okay, now minors. A minor has no sharps or flats, except unless you alter it to make it a melodic minor scale or a harmonic minor scale. So the minor keys, A goes on the top, 12 o'clock. And you should know these too. You should know these like by heart. You shouldn't have to say, well, what is the relative minor? Something is a relative minor to this major, and this major has so many sharps, and this one. Just know where you're at in the minor circle of fifths as well as the major circle of fifths. Just have it as a separate thing that you also know. So A minor is no sharps, no flats. To the right, E minor is 1 sharp. B minor is 2 o'clock. That's 2 sharps. F sharp is 3 o'clock, and that's 3 sharps. C sharp is 4 o'clock, and that's 4 sharps. G sharp is 5 o'clock, and that is 5 sharps. G, A, B, C, D. Yeah, and then D sharp is 6 sharps, which is 6 o'clock. But that could also be E flat. That D sharp minor is 6 sharps, which is at 6 o'clock. But also that could be E flat minor. Has 6 flats. It is also 6 o'clock. So 6 o'clock is either D sharp minor, which has 6 sharps, or E flat minor, which has 6 flats. And notice again, 6 and 6 make 12. So we're all good. Next is 7 o'clock is let's see. Let me think here. B flat. B flat minor, which has 5 flat. Which has 5 flats, which could also be considered A sharp minor, which has 7 sharps. And again, 7 and 5 make 12, and we're talking about the same key. So then that's at 5. That's at 7 o'clock. Then wait, let me think. Let me do this right. G of B flat, A, B, C, D, E, F flat, E, A, G, F, E, G. Okay, now 8 o'clock is F minor. That's 4 flats. You could. That's easy to do if you just count from A is no sharps, A minor is no sharps or flats, and just down to major third is 2 whole steps, and each whole step is 2 flats. So F minor would be 4 flats, and then you go to C minor is 9 o'clock position, and that is 3 flats. And one way of looking at that, a clever way of looking at it to me, you start with A minor. You know that the relative major is C major, which has no sharps or flats. So if C major has no sharps or flats, C minor has 3 flats, because a minor key has three flats more than a major key of the same root, and a major key has 3 sharps more than a minor key at the same root. So if A minor is, the relative major to A minor is C major, and C minor therefore must be 3 flats, because a minor key has 3 flats more, 3 flats added to it from a major key. So C minor is 9 o'clock, and that's 3 flats. And then you have G minor is 10 o'clock, and that's 2 flats. And then D minor is 11 o'clock, and that's 1 flat. And then finally you're at A minor at the top, 12 o'clock again. No sharps, no flats. So know these things, no little tricks. Like if let's say I'm in A major, and I know that is 3 sharps. So I know the relative minor to A major is F sharp minor. So F sharp minor must have 3 sharps as well. let's test that. Well, F minor has 4 flats. If you sharp it, you get 7 sharps more than 4 flats, and 7 sharps minus 4 flats gives you 3 sharps. And that's consistent because the relative major to F sharp minor is A major, which has 3 sharps because it is 3/5 removed from C, the key that has no sharps or flats. So just know how to work it in your head, like, and know the little tricks. And another thing I find useful, that's not the same exact topic as I'm talking about here, but one thing that's useful when you're playing and you're improvising, here in a big truck, sorry, sorry for that. So one thing that's cool that I'm picking up, getting better at, is knowing where all the notes are on the neck. It really helps you when you're improvising, because case in point, I did one of my heavy metal shred pieces on 7-string guitar today, and I was really aided by the fact that I know my notes on the neck, and even on the B string I know it, because I know B is low mode, and you just figure out what note you're at and what the sharp or flat is or whatever. Like if I'm playing on the 7th string and I'm playing on the 10th fret of the 7th string, I know that must be the key of A, because A is a whole set below B, and B is the open string and also the 12th fret note of the low B string on the 7th string guitar. But knowing that makes it a lot easier to know what you're going to do after playing that A than it does if you can wonder what note was that. I know you don't have to think of every note to play licks and even to play by ear, but it's still good to know where your notes are so you don't get lost and you can navigate way better on the neck. So I love you guys. Keep singing rock and roll.